Have you ever stopped to think about how much tech is quietly changing the way we all shop? I mean, not just the apps and websites, but everything happening sort of behind the curtain. If you've wondered about how big that change really is, well, you're in the right place. Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're diving into the really fascinating world of the global retail solutions market. And this isn't just about, what's on the shelf. It's about the tech, the innovation that's totally reshaping how retailers work, how they connect with us, and how they grow. Our mission for you today, and we're drawing on a pretty comprehensive 2025 forecast from Cognitive Market Research here, is to give you a clear picture. Where's this market going? What are the growth rates really like? Which regions are leading? Basically, a shortcut to getting smart on this really crucial economic trend.
And what's really striking, I think, is just the sheer scale we're discussing globally and how fast it's all moving. Just to give you some numbers, back in 2021, the whole market worldwide was worth just over $5.8 billion. But yeah, it's definitely not staying there. This deep dive shows it's projected to jump to nearly $9 billion by 2025. And then, get this, more than double again to a pretty staggering $20.9 billion by 2033. Okay, hold on. Let's just process that for a moment. That's not just growth. That's like serious acceleration. Going from, what, 5.8 billion to almost 21 billion in just over 10 years? That means a compound annual growth rate, the CAGR, of over 11.2%. Wow. That really signals some powerful momentum, doesn't it? Driven by innovation, presumably. But maybe we should back up a sec. When we say retail solutions, what exactly are we talking about? That's a really good question, yeah. So retail solutions basically covers the whole digital engine room of modern retail. Think way beyond just the cash register. It includes things like, advanced point of sale systems, smart inventory management using AI to predict what people will buy, robust e-commerce platforms for that smooth online experience, sophisticated customer analytics for personalization, even supply chain tools to get products where they need to be efficiently, and newer stuff too, like AR in stores. It's really about making retailers smarter, faster, more connected.
Right, that makes sense. Puts those huge numbers into perspective. So, okay, this massive global shift, which regions are really pushing things forward? North America must be a big piece of this puzzle, right?
Oh, absolutely. A major player. North America alone, back in 2021, was over $2 billion in sales. And that's projected to grow past $3.1 billion by 2025, and then really take off to over $7 billion by 2033. So yeah, a really strong CGR there too, over 10.7%. It's foundational.
And looking inside North America, you see some interesting variations. The U.S. obviously takes the lion's share. It's looking like 1.7 billion in 2021, growing to over 5.8 billion by 2033. But what's kind of intriguing is Canada. While the U.S. is huge, Canada's actually growing a bit faster.
That's right.
A CAGR over 11.6%. It jumps from about 185 million to nearly 700 million by 2033. And Mexico, too. Smaller start, around 151 million, but still growing steadily near 11%, heading towards over 525 million. What explains that? Different adoption rates, maybe?
That's a great point. It likely comes down to a few things. The U.S. has that massive established market, huge investments already made. Canada's slightly higher rate might suggest maybe faster adoption now, perhaps fewer legacy systems to deal with, or maybe a more concentrated retail sector that can move quicker. And Mexico's solid growth points to, significant investment in modernizing, catching up perhaps, and adopting current tech. It shows these solutions work across different scales, really.
Yeah, it really feels like this digital stuff isn't just nice to have anymore. It's table stakes. Okay, let's hop across the pond. Europe. Big, diverse market. What's the story there in the retail solutions space?
Europe's definitely significant. Its market was valued around 1.27 billion back in 2021, and it's expected to hit almost 4.31 billion by 2033. So a healthy growth rate there too, nearly 10.8% CAGR. And when you look at the individual countries, you see this digital push pretty much everywhere. The UK, for instance, goes from just over 200 million to over 704 million by 2033. Germany, a real economic engine, shows very strong growth, about 246 million up to over 900 million. That's an 11.5% CAGR.
Wow, Germany's really moving. And France.
France starts at about 171 million, expected to climb over 546 million.
Okay, and Italy.
Italy's looking at substantial growth too, from around 124 million to over 405 million.
Now, Russia's numbers are growing, 63 million up to about 179 million, but the growth rate is lower, around 9%.
That's right, comparatively lower CR there.
So when you look at Europe as a whole, is it kind of uniform, or are there big differences in how things are being adopted?
It's definitely not uniform, no. But the overall direction is clear. Digital transformation is happening. You've got established economies like Germany investing heavily in advanced stuff. Others might be on slightly different paths, maybe different speeds. But the report also highlights, Spain, Sweden, Denmark, Switzerland, even smaller places like Luxembourg. They're all showing consistent growth. It really suggests that retailers everywhere in Europe see these tools as essential now for efficiency, for customer experience, just for staying in the game.
Right. It's becoming pervasive, even if the speed varies a bit. But if we're talking sheer speed, we got to look at Asia Pacific, right? That's really the global growth engine here. The numbers look pretty gradiatic.
Yeah, exactly. Asia Pacific, or APAC, has the highest overall CAGR. We're talking over 12%. The market there was already $1.7 billion in 2021, but it's projected to just explode, really, to over $6.7 billion by 2033. China, for example, leads the pack, starting around 529 million, expected to hit over 2.1 billion by 2033. That's a CAGR of over 12.2%.
Okay, and China's huge, but India's growth rate is even faster.
Yeah, highest in the whole report, almost 13% CAGR.
Wow, so it rockets from about 247 million in 2021 to over $1 billion by 2033. That's incredible.
It really is.
And Japan's also looking at crossing that $1 billion mark by 2033, starting from around 282 million. South Korea is going from 132 million up to over 477 million. Australia jumps from about 82 million to 275 million.
And there are other strong performers, too. Singapore's got an AGR near 12.4%, pushing it from 63 million to over 259 million. Southeast Asia as a whole rising from 118 million to over 500 million. Taiwan jumps from about 93 million to over 348 million. It's just widespread, rapid growth, driven by massive digital adoption, huge consumer bases. What do you think is really fueling APAC's leadership here?
Well, I mean, besides the obvious scale and the speed people are adopting digital, I suspect it's also partly about leapfrogging. A lot of these markets might be skipping older tech stages and going straight to the latest solutions.
That makes sense.
So they're implementing cutting-edge automation, data analytics right from the start, puts them on a faster trajectory. But hey, we shouldn't forget the other emerging regions. South America, the Middle East, Africa, they're part of this story too.
Absolutely. They are making significant contributions. South America, for instance, revenue was around 373 million in 21, set to grow to over 1.38 billion by 2033. Brazil's the big one there, moving from 146 million to over 534 million. But Argentina also shows strong growth, over 12% key AGR, going from about 74 million to nearly 290 million. And you see solid growth in Colombia, Peru, Chile too. Chile, for example, grows from about 32 million to over 123 million. Shows real investment in modern retail infrastructure.
And the Middle East, that's another interesting region.
Yeah, expected to grow from about 262 million in 21 to over 965 million by 2033.
Saudi Arabia leads in size, 67 million, growing to over 251 million.
But the UAE has a particularly high growth rate, over 12.1% CAGR. It goes from 43 million to over 171 million.
And places like Turkey, Egypt, Qatar are also showing strong double-digit growth. What's driving that?
Often it's a combination of things. Young, tech-savvy populations, ambitious government plans for economic diversification. There's a real push towards digital transformation across the board there.
Okay, and finally, Africa. Starting smaller, but still significant growth.
Definitely. The market's set to grow from about 128 million in 2021 to over 472 million by 2033. That's a CAGR over 10.5%. Nigeria, for example, climbs from around 21 million to nearly 79 million, and South Africa grows from about 46 million to over 183 million. These are markets with huge potential where these solutions can really make a difference, maybe even tackling unique challenges like logistics.
It's fascinating, actually, to see how these regions, which maybe don't get as much headline attention, are still contributing so much to this global trend. So, okay, pulling it all together, the huge numbers, the hotspots like APAC, the steady growth everywhere else. What are the absolute core drivers? What's really lighting the fire under this market globally?
Well, connecting it all, the main thing is simply the accelerating adoption of technology. It's happening everywhere. We're seeing huge investments in retail automation, not just self-checkouts, but I think robotic warehouses, automated inventory. And then there's the massive push into data analytics, smart solutions. This allows retailers to really understand customers, predict what they want, personalize offers. These aren't just buzzwords anymore. They deliver real results.
Yeah.
Efficiency, profitability, better customer response. And because it works, it's fueling this transformation on, well, basically every continent. It's fundamentally changing how businesses run.
And that really hits home why understanding this stuff is so important, right? For anyone in business or even just interested in tech, it shows you where the money and the innovation are flowing, where the opportunities are. So, just to recap quickly, the global retail solutions market isn't just ticking along. It's one of the fastest growing, most dynamic sectors out there. It's changing retail everywhere and fast. Hopefully, this deep dive has given you a clearer data-backed picture of what's happening, saved you some time wading through reports, and given you some key insights. Now, just a final thought to leave you with. Given this incredibly rapid adoption, this push for automation, for intelligence, what may be the next unexpected innovation wave in retail? Something we maybe aren't even thinking about much yet. And how could that further shake up our shopping experiences or impact businesses or even change careers, in the next decade or so? Something to chew on. Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're jumping into the retail solutions market. It's a really dynamic space, constantly changing. Our mission, really, is to take this stack of fresh insights, mainly from a cognitive market research report, and, pull out the key bits of knowledge for you. We want you to understand what's really moving the needle in retail today and, well, what hurdles businesses are facing.
It's definitely an exciting area.
Yeah.
And, it's moving so fast, not just small changes we're seeing. It feels more like a fundamental shift. Understanding the speed of tech adoption and how quickly customer expectations are changing alongside it, that's crucial for anyone tracking innovation. It's this constant feedback loop, really.
Okay, right. Let's get into it then. So for this deep dive, we'll look at what's really pushing growth in retail tech, what's holding things back, the roadblocks, and then look ahead at the trends shaping what's next for retail. It's all about how companies are trying to adapt, maybe even get ahead in this really demanding market. So first up, what's driving growth? The Cognitive Market Research Report really emphasizes this demand for customized customer experiences. It's more than just knowing a name now.
Exactly. It's about engineering specific journeys. And what's fascinating, what the report really highlights, is how sophisticated this is becoming. It's not just, suggesting related products anymore. We're seeing retailers use some pretty advanced customer analytics, real-time behavior tracking, AI insights, and plugging that not just into their CRM systems, but right at the point of sale. So you get these hyper-tailored suggestions, maybe even dynamic pricing. The report mentioned, up to a 15% conversion lift for companies doing this well.
Yeah, 15%. That's significant. And then there's the next big one, e-commerce growth, but specifically how it ties into omni-channel retailing. The report makes it clear customers don't just want a seamless experience across online and physical stores. They basically demand it. I think it said 70% see consistency as key.
That figure sounds right. And it makes those integrated solutions absolutely essential. You just can't fake it. The research shows the best performers have systems talking to each other constantly. Unified inventory so you don't see out of stock online when it's right there in the store. Synchronized payments, customer support that knows your history no matter how you contacted them last. The report actually found that businesses with truly integrated omnichannel setups have 2.5 times higher customer retention. Without that integration, that seamless experience just doesn't happen.
It falls apart.
Yeah.
And beyond the customer side, there's also automation and advanced analytics really changing things behind the scenes. Things like optimizing inventory or forecasting demand more accurately.
Right. The operational efficiency, smart shelves, better forecasting.
Yeah.
It all adds up. And you asked about tangible efficiency. The report tried to quantify this. It showed retailers using AI for things like inventory and supply chain management could cut operational costs by, up to 25%, mostly by reducing errors and optimizing stock. And AI predicting regional demand. Apparently, it's hitting around 85% accuracy now. That lets businesses adjust logistics before there's a problem. So the report is pretty clear.
Yeah.
These aren't just nice-to-haves anymore. They're becoming essential for staying competitive.
But it's not all straightforward, is it? Like any big shift, there are always roadblocks. The research highlights the big one first. High initial costs and ongoing maintenance. It's suggested for businesses under, $50 million revenue? The upfront costs for these big integrated systems could be 15–20% of their annual IT budget. That's huge.
It really is.
Yeah.
And the report digs into those long-term costs, too, which often get underestimated. It's not just the software. It's hardware, implementation, training, constant upgrades, cloud fees, and it all adds up. And the payback isn't instant. Often takes 2, maybe 3 years. The report found that delays or stops adoption for maybe 40% of small to mid-sized retailers. It's a massive strategic bet for them.
A big gamble.
Then there's data privacy and security. Always a concern, but maybe even more so now. With all this customer data flowing through complex systems, these retail solutions must be, attractive targets. Oh, absolutely. Prime targets. The research said retail data breaches were up 20% last year alone. And the average cost? Over $3.5 million now. Plus, you've got regulations like GDPR, various U.S. state laws. Staying compliant and secure takes constant effort and investment. It's not optional. It's a core operational cost. And customer trust. Once that's gone after a breach, it's incredibly hard to win back. The report really stressed that point.
Right. Hard to recover from. And what about the classic problem legacy systems? Lots of retailers still have older POS or inventory systems that just weren't built for this connected, cloud-based world. Getting them to talk to the new stuff must be a nightmare.
Yeah, that's a huge headache, and the report spent some time on it, migrating or just integrating those old systems, often proprietary ones, without completely disrupting daily operations. It's complex, it's expensive,
Hmm.
especially for big chains with lots of stores built around those older systems. I think they mentioned one big department store chain where the integration project alone cost over $20 million and took years, significantly delaying their whole digital push.
Wow, $20 million just for integration. Okay, so looking past those challenges, what about the future? What trends are really shaping things according to cognitive market research? AI and machine learning seem top of the list.
Yeah, and the report sees AI's impact as incredibly broad. It's way beyond just automating simple tasks. It's forecasting AI driving, like hyper-personalized marketing that changes on the fly based on customer mood. Predictive analytics, spotting supply chain issues before they even happen. Even AI chatbots handling complex service questions almost like a human. The research suggests retailers who really go deep with AI could see profit margins potentially increase by 5–10% in the next 5 years. So getting in early could be a major advantage.
Interesting. Okay, next trend. Cloud-based retail platforms. They seem to be taking off, and you can kind of see why. It's about more than just data storage, isn't it? It changes how you scale.
Absolutely. Flexibility and resilience are the key words there. The report highlights how cloud solutions let you scale up instantly for peak seasons, like holidays, then scale back down. You can manage global operations from one place and potentially save costs on hardware and local IT support over time. It sort of democratizes access to powerful tools, making them available even to smaller players. That agility is proving really vital.
Makes sense. And finally, the report pointed to contactless and mobile payments. Demand just keeps growing there. Tap to pay, mobile wallets. Consumers just expect faster, safer, easier ways to pay now.
And it's not just about convenience for the customer, it actually hits the bottom line. The research showed retailers offering a good range of mobile and contactless options saw, on average, a 7% bump in transaction value. Plus, it boosts loyalty. People like easy checkout, so they come back. It's a clear link between adopting modern payments and seeing real business results, more than just speed.
Right, actual financial gains. Phew, okay. What a journey through all that. We've really covered a lot of ground on the retail solutions landscape, unpacking the forces driving change and the details behind them.
Yeah, we really have. We
Mhm.
talked about those key drivers, the push for tailored experiences, the whole e-commerce and omnichannel integration piece, and how automation and analytics are changing operations. We also hit on the big roadblocks, the high costs, those crucial data security worries, and the ongoing struggle with integrating older systems. And then looking ahead, the trends, the power of AI and machine learning, the shift to cloud platforms, and that relentless demand for easy contactless payments.
So, if you're trying to get a handle on where retail is going or maybe how businesses are managing these big shifts, hopefully you now have a much clearer, data-driven picture of what's really important.
So here's something to think about, maybe chew on after this. The report makes it clear that tech, like AI and advanced analytics, are becoming, quote, essential to staying competitive. But it also shows that high initial investments are a major barrier, especially for smaller businesses, with many delaying adoption. So the question is, how does the industry bridge that gap? Or are we just going to see a widening divide between the big retail giants who can afford to innovate and the smaller players who might get left behind?
That is a really powerful question to consider as all this technology keeps evolving and reshaping the retail world. We definitely encourage you to keep exploring these topics on your own. They certainly aren't standing still. Until next time.